served in Ethiopia. Welcome to the Kings of the Nile channel. And today we brought you a very exciting person who was served in Ethiopia. Johnny Corbin was in Ethiopia, and he served both United States and Ethiopia honorably. Been now a retired Navy, and he will share some of his experience. Johnny Corbin was newly married when he first went to Ethiopia, and he was stationed in Asmara. At the time, it was Ethiopia, and he will tell us a little bit more about what he was doing and the time and his reflection of the place in Ethiopia. Johnny, welcome to the Kings of the Nile.
Glad to be here.
So when did you, what did you do when you were in Ethiopia, and when were you invited? I mean, when were you stationed there and so forth? Time and I know you got your son was born there and so forth, so you could tell us a little bit about those things.
I arrived on May 13th, 1970. I was stationed in the Navy when we were doing a communication site. We ran communications for all the ships in the Indian Ocean. Suez was still closed from the 1967 war, so we worked the merchant ships as well. And we also provided communications for local needs. And as you said, I met my wife there. We were married. I have an Ethiopian marriage license, and I have Ethiopian rings that have the line of Judah on them. And they also have a Amharic writing on them. We had those made downtown in Asmara by a goldsmith. Our son was born there in January of '73. And he was about 6 months old when we were asked to leave, more or less, and we were held for 4 days. They flew us to Addis Ababa and held us in a compound for 4 days, and then finally got us out of Ethiopia. That was in August 1st, we left on August 4th, 1973.
Nice. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about the circumstances that led into closing of the Kanyo station, and what precipitated that kind of action on the U.S. and the Ethiopian part, and how long did it take for the station to close down completely from the time you left?
Well, as I was getting ready to leave, we were getting a lot of communications about closure. Part of the problem was that I believe that the United States somewhat left Ethiopia. They were no longer, they were too busy thinking about other things, and they weren't thinking about what they needed to be doing. And so Ethiopia was feeling like they weren't sure where we were. At the same time, there was a lot of discontent among the Ethiopian troops stationed in Eritrea, and as the time I was leaving, it wasn't as bad as it got later. 77, I think, was when they totally removed the Americans, or the Americans got out totally. And it was not, I don't think, they more or less took over the base, the Kagnu Station base, and the Ethiopian Army did, and the Americans just had a small unit that was still left there doing some Navy type communications, and they left kind of in a concerned moment because they were under threat of attack. But and it's my understanding that most of these was communist driven. It was driven by the people were upset. They did not know where they were going, and they turned to Russia because America kind of left them in that way too. That's just my perception.
I understand. I understand. Johnny, what happened after that? After you left, did you go to Decomartier or is it to Greece? Exactly, I wasn't clear where you left to.
When I left, as I was flying out,
Yes.
uh, we were loaded onto a bus. We actually went to breakfast. We were at a hotel in Addis Ababa. Had a large fence, wall around it. I'm not sure exactly where it was. It was not in the center of town. We went to breakfast on the morning of the 4th of August, 73, and they were loading all the Americans that were being held onto a bus. They took us to the Addis Ababa airport. They put us on an Ethiopian jet. The pilot didn't talk. There were Ethiopian stewardess. And we flew to Athens. We flew over Egypt into Athens. We landed in Athens, Greece. The Greek authorities would not let us off the runway. We were on the runway with jeeps and machine guns around us. And we refueled there on the Athens tarmac. And as we were taking off, actually, it was kind of a situation that the windows blew out of the Athens airport, and it was Greek separatists that blew up at Athens airport. It was about August 4th of 73. And that's the only time that the pilot spoke. That he said he was assuming that they thought that because of whatever was happening in Ethiopia, that the Greeks took advantage of it, and they were watching us instead of them. And then they flew from there to to Rome, and at Rome they let us go. And as we were walking up the there was a New York Times newspaper that said there had been a coup in Ethiopia. That was the first time we fully understood. We knew that normally wonderful Ethiopians were kind of cold toward us at the time when we were in Addis, but nobody would actually explain it to us. Like my son got sick, and they allowed the embassy to come in and give us some medicine, and of course let us go to the American Embassy commissary to get diapers and food, because most of us only were planning on a 1 to 2 day flight, and it ended up 4 or 5 days. So, but all in all, it was okay.
Well, Johnny, what was, I understand that you were also had a personal encounter with the Emperor Haile Selassie when he was coming in, and you were quite fond of him. What was your experience with him when you were in Asmara?
I found that the Emperor was very, very nice. He was always polite and congenial to every American that he saw. He actually was knocked down one time by one of the dependent children, and he got up laughing and ultimately gave her a lion cub and maybe a horse. He was known to give coins to the school children when he visited. And I think you've got some movie film that I took of him. I would not have said that he was anywhere mean. All I ever saw was kindness. And he was very congenial. And those staff that were with him were always wonderful too. I never had any issues with anybody.
Nice. Johnny, recently, after you retired, after many years of Navy services, when did you retire from the Navy, by the way?
I retired in August of 1989.
1989.
And then I moved back to my wife's home in Alabama, and I've worked for the state of Alabama since then.
Nice.
About 28 years.
28 years. Beautiful. So you made the trip with our team to Ethiopia in 2019. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you felt and How did it change what a small, beautiful provincial country turned into this huge population and so forth? What was your impression? We went all over, including Aksum and so forth.
Well, to start, it was the reconnection to Ethiopia that I made in Charleston at one of the reunions. The meeting that you had and speaking, and it was just kind of odd, or it was a unique feeling because it had made a big circle. I had left there, and all this time later, I came back to it. And going to Ethiopia was an exciting, exciting trip. The thought of going back after all those years, I still get jittery over it. It was so exciting. We went in, everyone that I met during the entire trip were wonderful. They were congenial. I saw absolutely no animosity toward us as Americans or anybody else, to be honest. They went out of their way to do nice things for us. We had a lot of company. There was the colonel up in the north, and then of course, just they allowed us to do some sightseeing. But all in all, I think it was the graciousness of the people and all the different provinces and all the different ethnic groups. And I could not tell that there was anything but good.
Thank you, Johnny. When you hear the news now with this TPLF and the things that are happening, how did you feel? And what do you think Ethiopia needs to do to get out of this communist quagmire that get ourselves into some 46 years ago?
I worry especially about the good people that I know and am friends with on a daily basis. I worry. I hear from many, many Ethiopians, some from the Afar region, some from the north, some from the south, all over Ethiopia, to be honest. And a lot of the people that we met, I worry about them. I think I see the people as one. And when I was there, I did not see ethnic, I saw people. And I think that we all in this world, but now in Ethiopia especially, they need to see each other as brothers and people. Brothers, sisters, family, because they are a family. They're all good. I think they've just been led astray. I think that in some respects, you know, I'm a American and I'm under democracy, but in some respects, I think it would be good for the people if they reestablish some of the kings of the various groups and the emperor, to where there's no political bias, that the people, that the leadership, the kings, would be more concerned with the people getting along under them than the political bickering that happens in just normal life. And I think maybe, being that it's not political, that the people can actually start to relax, that knows somebody's in their corner, that regardless of what happens, there's people that are listening. And I don't know that they can get that right now because politics is too corrupt.
Well, eventually they'll figure it out. I mean, they've made an incredible stride the last 2 years, as you've seen yourself. A lot of democracy now. People can say whatever they want, and as you have seen, personally witnessed and commented to me many times, that Ethiopia has changed for the better, and the young people are exposed to internet, and all those type of things are helping. I think slowly they will move forward in Ethiopian manner. and I think they'll succeed. You said it that yourself many times to me, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. What do you think of that line of thought?
I think that part of the reason we have so many friends on Facebook and places is they want to hear the differences in people's thoughts. They want to learn English and they want to communicate and they want to air their thoughts. And I do believe that they are going that way. I believe that there is more in Ethiopia that it is alike than there is that is different. And I think, if you're at the leadership, if you're at the prime minister stage, there are things that you see that the lower levels don't see because it's not necessarily that they know about it. They are in a whole different world than we are. So, I can't judge them because I don't know what's actually happening in the leadership. I just know that I always felt welcome. I never saw a difference in any place I went. We shook hands the same way. We touched shoulders the same way. I love the Ethiopian people. And the only thing I really want is that they are successful and happy.
Thank you, Johnny, and appreciate you very much. I'm sure this is not going to be our last time that we will have a talk. And as the situation are ongoing in Ethiopia, we'll circle back and talk about this probably 1 or 2 times more.
I'm honored. I'm honored that they think that I'm important enough to discuss.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you very much. And thank you, our listeners, for watching into the Kings of the Nile channel. And we'll come back to you with some more exciting programs.